Hello, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, Equestria at War. King Warzena, under King Barekzamal. And today's episode, well, we're continuing to try to fix this thing. Ooh, we could hire someone. We could also get stability, but I'm not that worried about that yet. Anyone here? Actually, I want that first before anything else. Political power and weekly stability. Yeah, that's what I want first. A hasty prayer. Every passing moment drew all of Warzena closer to the nation's future. From its every span of ancient homeland to every denizen, to its lone king pacing to and fro in his chamber. The stars and moon had already begun to illuminate the night, and all but the busiest of Warzena had retired to sleep. Yet still the zebra remained awake. King Barekzamal heaved a sigh and gazed over the luminant rooftops of Zamivgazal from his window. Every zebra had done so much to restore Warzena, and still so much more remained. Though soon, perhaps admittedly even a bit too soon, the nation would be led into its future, with him officially taking the reins. Was this what his late brother felt when he had ascended the throne, all the kings and queens before? King Barekzamal smiled. To say all this was daunting was an understatement of history. Finally there was a knock on the door, and Barekzamal called for the invited guests. Quietly, the zebra wondered if he should have adorned something more regal, and then a modestly fashioned nightgown. But worries soon vanished upon the sight of the small contingent of priests entering and bowing with the barest of ornate robes. "Good morning, your highness," the head priest spoke. "Forgive our lack of proper apparel. We were informed of your request was urgent." The king returned the courtesy in kind. "Of course, as long as you all forgive mine." He tactfully waited a few moments for their smiles to sink in before bowing his head. "I've summoned all of you here because Warzena will soon embark upon its future. What lies ahead will undoubtedly determine the destiny of our kingdom. This has troubled me throughout, and I wish, well, to pray for our future and Warzena's." One of the priests spoke nonchalantly. "We're already up, so we might as well." Barekzamal gave a laugh of approval before any of the more stringent priests admonished the remark, moving to begin the impromptu prayer session. "O Zal, O Zenit, the divine diarchy, we beseech thee." Or we beseech. And that gives us enough to get the national integration, the person I want. Nice. That's going to help our stability and our political power. And honestly, I'm going to not have that active as a thing to do. Because, it'll take a while because I'm only getting plus 0.10 per week. But eventually that'll get up to a great amount on its own. So I don't need to worry about that. Although we would like to believe that the royal court can be trusted, we must accept the harsh reality that there are traitors and backstabbers among us, with even the king's closest advisors being potential imposters, relaying our information to our enemies. True, they could be anywhere among us. Remember when that was a joke? That didn't sound cringe? Actually, I think it always sounded at least somewhat cringe, but you get what I mean. Sorry to anyone that still likes those jokes. Have fun. Man Kassaret has defeated. Ooh. This time they win. We're not gonna get some humongous empire of Townsville going all throughout this area randomly for no real reason this time. Cool. This is honestly the region I'm most interested in. With nations like them, I'm so interested in them. I'm so interested in them with their golden city. Like, honestly, especially just these two, I'm so curious about. Oh wait, them too. These guys have so many effects for, or all of these for a nation that has no content. Having 3 things off the bat is interesting. Yeah, these 3 I'm very curious about. And then also these guys over here. I think it's less here and more here. Like the bottom part of this continent is what I'm very excited about. Because also the big being, actually no, really it is just the bottom part, because these guys are interesting to me. Then if you move further, these guys are interesting to me. Like, what are they all up to? Do these guys do a whole bunch of stuff? And I'm also very curious about them. Like, really, I just want South Zebrica to get content. Like, F the middle. Actually, to be fair, honestly, I'm really excited about a lot of Zebrica. Because I'm also very excited about them specifically. I don't know. They just seem so strange. They have so many things. But traitors in our midst. King Barekzamal quietly observed the members of the royal court in the grand musty room, vaguely listening to the ongoing debate while more poignantly focused on each of their expressions. For his lack of experience as a ruler, he was very aware that there were still those who sought to undermine and treasonously subvert his authority. The members of Camo had somehow received too many undisclosed details on his future plans for the kingdom, and as a result were able to present commendable counter-proposals. Now with him slated to officially become the head of Warzena, and many of their plans rejected, Barekzamal pondered how soon until Camo or others began considering more extreme measures if they weren't already. The king continued to slowly shift his gaze. His eyes were briefly met by another pair, already glancing his way before their owner quietly returned their attention back to the debate between the court members. Exactly how much of the royal court were for or against him? How many were indifferent? How many could be swayed, and how many would need to be taken care of? The royal zebra adjusted to be more comfortable position in his seat. A precedence would have to be taken care of quickly and carefully. Though from what his friends had said about him before this whole kingship ordeal, King Barekzamal believed he had just enough charisma and amicability to take care of it, or at least to ensure the flirtation started properly. Filtration. One catches flies easier with honey than vinegar. Okay. We're gonna have a spy network set up, and we don't even have to spin the civilian. Emergency measures. Although we have managed to prevent the country from collapsing outright, the situation is still tenuous at best, and without further measures may spiral completely out of control. Even if they are temporary, these policies will ensure that the country can keep its bearing until a more permanent solution is implemented. That does make sense, yeah. And all around us are familiar faces, worn out places. Okay. Hippogriffia, give me more aid. I want more aid. Make this amazing natural spirit even better for me, please. Can you please do that for me? That's what I would like. Also, the prayer didn't give me 17 military factories like I asked for. I don't see no 17 military factories or increased research, or I mean not research, but increased factory speed. And I also, yep, I don't see more guns randomly in my supply. Come on, gods. I did make some pretty specific requests. And I mean, I would have been fine with just one of the things happening. Or did you give me like one gun and say, there you go, we technically fulfilled your request? That's probably what happened. Whatever. Moving on. I need more army experience to actually implement any of those, or at least that one, so I'll just wait for a bit. I also want to get you up, because I'm not going to go for war for a while, so I don't actually want to wait on that. I mean, I don't really have any war-focused things at all, besides, well, defending against Terra in the future. That's about it. Emergency measures. By Warzena's highest it is decreed, a herald said. Before him crowded the denizens of Zimelish, conversing with each other in a makeshift bazaar, and listening to the latest of laws from the royal court being proclaimed from the base of the crumbled fountain. Some of these laws were met with uproarious approval, such as the subsidized reconstruction effort and plans for registering families for relief, while a few others were condoned with jeering hisses and angry reeling of hooves. All in all, it was a constant back and forth between the crowd's approval and disapproval, while underneath the shade, the herald continued on. A nearby zebra muttered to his earth pony friend, "By Zal, how long has he been at it?" The earth pony idly dug at the sand. "About an hour now." Huh. Well, I gotta give him credit. That's impressive. To better conserve our dwindling resources, a national limit of 2 alcoholic drinks per creature per week will be imposed by Warzena's highest, it is decreed. The zebra, earth pony, and many others around him immediately erupted into boos and hisses. To compensate for this restriction, homebrewing has been permitted with private sales by Warzena's highest, it is decreed. The flustering confusion of condemning and cheering continued on. At least there's some order, for now. Yeah, more, give me more, give me more, give me more good effects, yeah. Provisional measures. More consumer good factories, let's go. I need them. I need to build faster. We still have 3 years before actually just 2 years. Still 2 years until the first one's built though, that's still a little while. And all around us, all across the country, there's a vast network of those opposed to the monarchy, consisting of a myriad of different people, coming from different walks of life. They blend in with the crowds and nearly undetectable, but they are not invincible. If the main agents of dissidents are, or can be, tracked down and neutralized, then the beast they built will surely follow. True. Yeah, we'll welcome those who flee persecution. Come over here, monarchy. Also, you joined their faction before you even had your civil war start. You're just like, look, let's work together, yay! Hey, so now I've got to fight a civil war real quick, but hopefully I'm still here to be your friend after. Okay, see you in a bit. I've got to go fight some people. Alright, do that. Let me go ahead and upgrade my ships as well, because why not? There we go. That sounds good. Let's do that. And then I do want to hire at least a couple more people. I will get you, but I want to get this first. You're next on my list after this. That, then military advisor. No, you could just leave. I know who I'm gonna hire already. So, sorry, sir, but yeah. Just being honest with you, sir. I would not like to lie to you and tell you something that is not gonna be true. The bleak benevolence. Bleak benevolence. Barekzamal walked in an apprehensive trudge throughout the halls of the palace. There was little he could do to try and walk away clean. Traitors from within and without, that was always the justification. If the night was to go as planned, then he would sign many zebras out of the picture. His thoughts were broken up by a royal messenger. He was delivered a notice that left him petrified. Municipal leaders and police commissioners had arrived, and they were expecting him to approve of their door-bucking campaign. Barekzamal gathered himself. He waved the messenger away while he made the slow and tenuous walk to the throne room. He cautiously opened the doors with false confidence. The zebras of the room bowed. The king begrudgingly took a seat on the throne, his stomach turning at what was to come. Intrusive thoughts unfolded in his mind as contemplated the situation. They had been on the brink once before. Since then, they have worked tirelessly to cure their blighted nation or kingdom. The bleak sacrifices made in the past led them to this point. If he called the raids off, it might cascade and force them back to the edge. There was no option other than to bloody the hooves of the monarchy once more. He delivered his decision to the small crowd. After the doors closed behind them, he sat in silence, praying it would go well. Praying it would last. Well, we get minus 100 political power. Well, I guess I'm not getting that out quite yet. Plus 10 stability is nice. Lower their non-aligned support, but get common supremacy support, so just as bad. Non-aligned just becomes the League of Free Zebras. So their their coalition falls apart. But we get add camo remnants. Not exactly what I want, but you know, it happens. It does happen. I want to see if I can, let me do math. 2 times 8 is 16. So, but 0.19, it'll be close. I just want to see if I'm able to, no, I'm not going to be able to. Darn. I don't want to waste any days, so I was going to only if I could do it without wasting any days, but I'd have to waste 1 day of a focus to be able to do it. Oh well, it happens. One day. Well. Oh well. A proper coronation. After 3 years of devastation and misery, Warzena is finally able to witness the coronation of her king. While he may not have been intended for the throne, it is now his, and it is now up to him to use his powers to guide the country towards a better and brighter future. We also have camo remnants, which have no description, but they are there and they are annoying. And we will have to deal with them. So, yeah. We will simply have to deal with them through the future. A proper coronation. Warzena's denizens packed the ancient streets of Zamivgazail, filling the dry air with excited jubilation. Merchants vended their best wares, while musicians filled the streets and squares with the liveliest of tunes, as entertainers and dancers performed besides them. The aroma of freshly cooking foods permeated the atmosphere, deliciously blending the scents of individual dishes into the fervent banquet of grandiose feast. Exuberant foals galloped in play through the lavishly decorated streets and weaved through the crowds, making their way closer and closer to the capital's center. Here gathered the multitude of Warzena, eager as ever to be present and witnessing true history in the making. The only ones who looked less than pleased were the many guards patrolling the streets and stationed throughout the king's domicile, though if asked why, the general consensus would be because they weren't off duty to enjoy the celebrations. All the clamor in the central square fell into hushes and prayers at the sight of Warzena's highest priest, stepping out onto the royal balcony. She soon beckoned forth, and the boisterous rhythm the royal orchestra rang out the thundering drums. With a last holy gesture, she stepped aside, and from behind stepped forth their official ruler. King Barekzamal lifted a hoof and waved with a smile towards the crowd below, unbridled in celebration. Despite having held the position long before today, he couldn't deny the symbolic grandeur of the coronation and all that it meant for Warzena. The future was to begin, and he would lead its way. A true king at last. There's the political power I need. And I can even do this as well. Not right now, whatever I could have done. Yeah, I don't care about those. We're gonna start with this, just because 20% factory economic factories factor is really bad. I want my consumer goods back. The economy has suffered blow after blow in the past few years and is hanging by a thread. It is high time we properly address it. Yes, that would be good. That would most certainly be a good thing to do. So that'll get rid of devastated economy. Okay, so getting rid of Legacy of the Storm starts with just the next one. So yeah, it's just over the next two. I mean, I want to deal with that, but I also really want to deal with these guys. Because I do want to get rid of these remnants, because I don't need to be losing stability and war support. I definitely wanted to do this first either way, because it gets the whole effect immediately in 21 days. That's so little time. I think I'm going to go over here next. I do really want to get rid of those, yeah, and I'm not getting that just because I don't want to give them support. No, I can now go ahead and do this. Cleaning the mess. Although the main body of resistance has been dealt with, the agents of discord remain active. Many elements that were kept in check by Camo leadership have grown bolder and even more radical, which has not aided the situation. Yeah, true. Well, let's deal with it. You guys can build because, well, now you need even less time. It's still a while. It's still gonna take a bit. So now we're going to deal with this stuff first. And then we're not going to do either of these. And then we're going to deal with economy. And we'll deal with this after we deal with a little bit of economy rebuilding. We should have at least a little time before we have to deal with them going to war, you know? We should have some time. But I think for now, this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.